Good morning and welcome. My name is Dr. Lori Worth, and I am the provost here at the University of Pikeville. Welcome to our convocation for the 2020-2021 academic year. Welcome to those of you who are here on the plaza and virtually as well. I know we've got a group of faculty members in Armington who are joining us as well, and community folks virtually. Thank you for being here. Convocation marks the celebration and beginning of a new academic year, and that's important. Thank you to our students for being here. Education matters in the life of you as students, but it also matters in the life of us as faculty and staff and leaders at the university. And we are thankful to partner with you during this next year. I'd like to say a special welcome to our Board of Trustees who are joining us virtually. Thank you for your leadership and support of the university. Thank you to our community members, the City of Pikeville, and so many of you in the community who support our students and our faculty and staff. Our faculty and staff, we have nearly 400 faculty and staff at the University of Pikeville who have worked tremendously hard these last few months to prepare for students' arrival and their experiences this year. And you as students, we have 552 osteopathic medical students this year, 277 optometry students, a little over 100 graduate students at the university, and 1,100 undergraduate students. You all come a variety of places, hometowns, and we are glad that you are calling University of Pikeville home this next academic year. I'd like to say a very special thank you to the parents and family members out there. We appreciate you in trusting the university in supporting and empowering your students this next year. There are many challenges this academic year that we will be facing, but also know that there's exciting opportunities for us to learn together and to celebrate, develop new friendships, mentoring opportunities, and partnerships, and we thank you for that. Please allow me to introduce Rob Music, our campus chaplain, who will deliver our invocation. Thank you and welcome.
Let's take a moment and pray. Faithful God and gracious Creator, today we bow our heads in awe and in need. As our community faces a pandemic with economic concerns, high levels of uncertainty, and intense anxiety, we ask that you would heal our world and provide the needed breakthrough for our medical and scientific communities to provide vaccinations and distribution needed for global protection. Also, we come acknowledging the horrific pains of systematic racism, murder on our streets, in a nation that is deeply divided over the most sensitive and personal issues. Today we long to be a beloved community that fully lives out the reality that Black lives matter and that all people are designed with an inherent worth which comes from you. Please heal our community from the unconscious and conscious realities of discrimination, racism, and exclusionary practices. Yet, Lord, you do not leave us broken and divided. You give hope and life. You defeat the tools of death and manifest inspiration as we turn our eyes to the hills. You are the one who defeats evil with good. You counter crucifixion with resurrection, and you make loving space for the Ninevites, even when we can be intentionally closed to their realities. Today we are so thankful that you are a God of love, and you have allowed us to be recipients and agents of this radically transformational gift. We are stunned by your loving beauty and the overwhelming privilege of learning in a safe environment, playing the sports that we love, and being together even in a socially distanced way. This year, please bless our university and our community in ways that empower us to do your works of justice, peace, and mercy. Use us, Lord, to be incredibly patient with one another, gracious in our encounters, and humble in our learning opportunities. Please give us the eyes to see opportunities in every obstacle, in mercy in moments that we yearn for judgment. May we all become transformed in your likeness and nature so that when people walk through our halls and classrooms, they will know that although we are a work in progress, we're being made whole in you. Thank you for this moment, this year, this gift. Today we ask a blessing on our speaker, his wife, and her school, and their beautiful little daughter. For we gratefully offer this prayer to you in the name of Jesus. Amen. It's my privilege now to introduce our university president, Dr. Burton Webb.
Thanks, Rob. It's great to see everybody here today, and certainly those of you who are on Facebook Live, we want to welcome you here as well. It is my distinct pleasure today to get to introduce our speaker to you. And you know me, if you know me well, that I don't really enjoy formal introductions. I prefer more informal sorts of introductions. I first met O.J. Oleka when I was chairing the search committee for the Independent Colleges and Universities of Kentucky professional organization. O.J. was one of 4 candidates, and I have to admit, although I haven't told him this, when I reviewed all of the resumes that were sent to us, I thought, gosh, this guy's good, but he's so young. I just don't know if this will be the one. And he came into the interview, and we had already interviewed 2 folks that day. We had 2 more to go. O.J. was the 3rd one in the room. And within 15 minutes, I said to myself, this is the guy. I don't care how young he is. His energy, his passion, his love for higher education is so overwhelmingly evident that no matter what it takes, we've got to figure out how to get this guy plugged in. And fortunately, the rest of the search committee agreed with me, because we, at the end of that day, since I was chair, I said, let's just do a straw poll right now. Who do you think should be the president? 100% on the first vote, O.J. Oleka. And so it is my great privilege to welcome a young man who has become a friend and a confidant of mine, Dr. O.J. Oleka.
Well, thank you, President Webb, for that introduction, and thank you for everybody who gets to be here today and everybody who is watching on Facebook Live. As Dr. Webb said, my name is Dr. now, O.J. Oleka, and I am pleased to be with you. Thank you to the faculty and to the staff and to the administration who invited me out here today to have this conversation. But I want to talk to students, first and foremost and mainly, because as we all know, you all are the most important reason why any of us are here. So specifically, I want to talk to upperclassmen for a second. As Dr. Webb said, I kind of identify with you. I was recently a student myself. I just finished my doctorate. I know how hard it can feel and how hard it can be to be this close to getting the degree, to be this close to getting that thing that you've worked so hard for and that you've longed for. So what I want to say to you is, I know where you've been, I know where you're at, so keep on fighting the fight and finish strong. Now to sophomores, I actually identify with you all as well. If you're a sophomore or a second-year student, you're sort of in the middle of your college experience. That's basically how I feel about life. I'm in my 30s. If you look at the average lifespan, it's about 80 years old. I'm sort of in part 2 of 4 parts of my life. Basically, I've gotten past the part where I have no idea what I'm doing, and now I know that I don't know a whole lot, so I'm trying to figure it all out. That's pretty much what sophomore year or your second year or your middle time in college is all about. You've gotten through your first year, you're trying to figure it out, maybe you've picked a major, you've got a direction in life. So again, I understand what you're going through, this idea of trying to figure out what comes next. So to you, I would also say, fight hard. Continue to push and to get to the finish and be stronger than you were than when you started. And freshmen, who are often, if I must admit, my favorite students, I sort of identify with you as well. You're new, you're starting things out, it's your first year on campus. It's actually my first year on the job, as Dr. Webb said. I got this job in December. I've been here for like 10 weeks. Nobody told me I was going to have to face a global pandemic, civil and social unrest, and racial injustice, but look, here we are. And the same thing is happening with you. Nobody said that when you applied for college, maybe that you'd be dealing with what you're dealing with now. Nobody said you'd have to figure out how to figure out college while dealing with the pandemic, while dealing with people trying to understand the differences that exist between one another. but you're going to make it, and you will figure it out. And we're going to figure it out together. The common theme here might in fact be fear. And I don't say fear because we lack confidence in what we're doing, whether it's the job that I've got or the education that you're getting. It's this idea that because we know how important it is what we're doing, whether it's work or school or building relationships with the community, we just don't want to get it wrong. And I have that fear too, because my job is incredibly important for each and every one of you. My responsibility is to go to Frankfurt and to go to Washington, D.C., virtually now, not in person, but it's to go and to fight for good policies that can make your college experience better, that can make college more affordable, and provide for you all the opportunities that we know are so important. And I believe that it's incredibly important, especially for rural students who come and get a great education at the University of Pikeville, but even more particularly, low-income students, because I recognize the importance of what a college degree can do for you and your family. And I know this because this is the story of my family. To know anything about me, you have to know who my dad was growing up. He grew up in systemic, abject poverty in a small village in Nigeria. He lost his father by the time he was 4 years old. But his mother, my grandmother, knew that if you want to reach your fullest potential, you had to get a good quality education. So my father endured some pretty difficult circumstances while he was in Nigeria. He lived with a cruel headmaster who wouldn't give him any opportunity, who wouldn't give him the same quality food and resources that he gave other students. But my father knew if he was going to succeed, and education was key. So eventually he got a grade school education in Nigeria and got this crazy idea in his mind that if he could just get to the United States of America, if he could just go live the American dream, then his life could change. So he met a beautiful woman, my mother, and he said, well, let's go do this crazy thing. And so they came to the United States. And my father went to Wheaton College. It's a small private college in Illinois. And they gave him his first shot, his first opportunity to thrive. And from there, he went on to Michigan State, got a master's degree and a PhD as well. My mother got her nursing degree in labor and delivery, and then they came to Kentucky. And it was here that they lived that American dream. They put 3 kids through college, of course, their favorites, their baby boy. And here I am with you all today. My father is the generation that broke and disrupted poverty for the Olekas, for my family, for me. Without education, he would have never had the tools, he would have never had the resources, and would have never had the opportunity. This is why this is so incredibly important to me, because I know that for every single one of you, you are either my father's generation, where you are here because you will break that cycle of poverty for your family, or you're my generation, the recipient of parents and people who worked hard and believed in you. And this is the thing that I want you all to take with you every step of the way, because just like my father's story, each of you have a story. Whether you're a kid from the mountains or a kid from somewhere else, or you look different, or somebody said you shouldn't be in college, you are in fact here. And it is that push to disrupt the generational challenges that you may face, the poverty that your family might go through, that is incredibly important and what should push you to achieve and to thrive. Now look, I understand that college isn't easy. Life isn't easy. College is hard and life is hard. But that should not stop you from pushing past and pushing through the difficulties that you might face. And again, I can speak to my own personal experience. And I talked about how great my dad was, and he was, God bless him. We lost him 4 years ago. But while I was an undergrad, I was not a whole lot like my father. My first year, I struggled immensely. In fact, if anybody wants to guess my first year GPA, it was lower than a 3.0, lower than a 2.0, and teetering around the line where they say, well, you can't come back. My first semester, I had a 1.4 GPA. 1.4. And so many of you might be thinking, well, How in the world do you get past that type of GPA? And it was believing in myself and having people in my college that believed in me. And the reason why I bring this up is because I had to work hard and I had to fight and I had to push back against my own belief that I couldn't make it, that I couldn't achieve. And I recognize that there are many of you who may have those types of circumstances in your own life. You didn't do as well as you wanted to your first semester here, or maybe you're struggling to figure it all out amongst the many different challenges that you have to deal with. Again, if it's COVID-19, if it is social unrest, if it's racial injustice, these things may be swirling around in your head and they make you struggle. But for me, I had my own challenges. But what I did was I decided I was not going to let my circumstance or my GPA be the indicator of who I could be and what I could accomplish. And so I turned that 1.4 into a 2.4. I turned those C's and D's into A's and B's until eventually they were just A's. And what I did was I got more involved on campus. I put my pride aside and I went and found the tutoring center. I went and found faculty who would help me. I went and found staff who believed in me, and I studied hard. I stayed in the books, and I made sure that I was going to be as successful as I knew I could and should be. And so not only did I graduate and have the opportunity to serve as my college's student body president, to be a good leader as well, but I went on and got my MBA and now my PhD. So I turned a 1.4 into 3 degrees in a conversation with you here today about the importance of fighting hard and not giving up. This is the story that I want you all to understand and pull out of this conversation. If it is my father and the struggle that he had growing up in Nigeria and the difficulties that he faced, or if it's the struggle that I had academically in overcoming those hurdles and those challenges, whatever that issue might be, whatever issue you have, you can succeed, you can thrive, and you can make a difference. And the reason why this matters so much is because every single thing that you do, every opportunity that you get to lead, to succeed, and to get a degree can transform your community and your family and your life. I believe this 100%, and it is with every fiber in my being that I fight for every single one of you. And I don't have to know you, and I don't know you personally, but to a degree I know your story. Because your story is my story. Your story is my father's story. And so the last thing that I will ask of you is to fight hard and to finish strong. Fight hard to get through this semester in the difficulties that it may give you. Finish your degree strong and go ahead and get that opportunity that is so important and so pivotal and so critical to your success. And don't be afraid to reach out for help. You look around and you can see people who are, in some cases, quite literally risking their lives to be here with you, who are making sure that they can get you the education that you deserve. Reach out to those folks, your faculty, the staff, and your fellow students. And if anybody tells you that you can't make it, that you don't belong, and that you can't achieve, well, just look in the mirror and say, I can achieve. I can make it. I am supposed to be here, and I do have the opportunity to thrive. So I thank you again for the opportunity to be here today. For those of you here in person, thank you for being with us. And for those of you watching, thank you as well. Encourage yourself, encourage others, and I thank you for being here.
Thanks, OJ. Those of you who are on Facebook Live can't see that our audience was standing and applauding, but I think that that's a significant response to a young man who is gifted and talented beyond his years. It's fantastic to have OJ on our campus, and we hope that we can bring him back on several occasions in the future. One of the things that struck me about his talk just now was, for me personally, it's only been 2 generations since the cycle of poverty was broken. And so it makes me wonder how many people in the audience today, both here face-to-face or even online, would tell a very similar story. That maybe it was your grandparents or your great-grandparents who said, enough. We're going to get an education so that this cycle stops with us and we can continue, and our kids and our grandkids will have a hope and a future. So thank you for being here with us today, and we're going to close this off because For those of you on Facebook, you can't see that we're only a few minutes from a downpour here in Pikeville, Kentucky. So thank you to God for the weather and keeping us open, and thank each one of you for coming. Have a great day.